We reported this week on the immigration debate and the president's mass deportations. Well, despite promises that criminals would be the main focus, Investigative Post has found that more than 3/4 of the migrants detained in our region this year have no criminal convictions or pending charges. And we're going to share some new information tonight on how job site raids in the Buffalo area have already led to skyrocketing costs for some construction. Meantime, we also have the Epstein files, the president now backing the release of grand jury testimony in the cases involving the notorious pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Local Congressman Nick Langworthy, who I just mentioned, he is sort of at the center of a couple of big votes. Many people in his own party upset with him, so we'll talk about that. And then finally, you have the big, beautiful bill. Today, Governor Kathy Hochul slamming it once again while detailing the impact on New York. This as Republicans are pointing out how much taxes would have gone up for almost everybody had the bill not passed. So let's get into all of that now with Russ Gugino. He is a supporter of President Trump and is on the executive board of the Erie County Conservative Party, and he's live here with us on a Friday night. Russ, thanks so much for coming in. It's good to see you.
Good to see you, Mike. How are you?
I want to start there with the rescissions package. That's the newest thing.
Sure.
This came from the White House, so President Trump will be signing this sooner rather than later. I mentioned there it's about $8 billion for public broadcasting and foreign aid. Republicans will need Democrats later this year to fund the government, right? It takes 60 votes in the U.S. Senate.
Right.
Should we worry that Democrats are going to say, look, you get 60 votes to pass this stuff and then you just take 50 votes to rescind what you don't like? How do we get actual spending bills done later if this is sort of the new way of operating?
Well, you know, bipartisanship is a nice word to use, but it's not practiced very much. Everybody goes to their corners and everybody starts to point to everybody. Everybody's a boogeyman for the other side and so on. But as far as the money is concerned that you're talking about, public broadcasting is a great service. The question is, can we afford it? You know, we have a 37 trillion. That's 37,000 billion. That's a lot of money. We owe it. So are there some things that could possibly be privatized or at least be supplemented with private donations? Public broadcasting might be one of those things.
I want to ask you about the Epstein files. This is, of course, really front and center right now in the political discussions. A lot of self-described MAGA Republicans are calling for full transparency in all of this. I want to play a little bit of what the press secretary for the White House, kind of flipping the script a little bit. Listen.
It's just a sad day in our community, and it's a sad day in our country. We're better than this.
We've been prepared for this since the...
Sorry about that. That's not the right clip. That obviously is what we played earlier. But when it comes to the Epstein files here, there was a vote in Congress. There have been a few votes, right, in the Rules Committee where Congressman Langworthy sits. And he voted for a Republican bill that doesn't force the release of files, right? It kind of says we would like to see this. He's facing a lot of backlash from a lot of Republicans. So now is Mr. Trump, the president. How do you see this playing out moving forward? And do you worry some of the support for the president is eroding?
Well, actually, a CNN poll taken yesterday indicates that this has not affected Trump's popularity one bit. In fact, his popularity post-controversy for Epstein is actually higher among Republicans. I don't know what it is for Democrats. But regardless of that, they should be transparent. That's what we're about. That's what he's about. He promised this. And he should be held to his promises. It's not a criticism of Trump. I think the idea of taking the grand jury testimony and making it public should give the public a very good idea as to what kind of there is there. So I think the president may have misstepped a little bit, but I think he's getting back his momentum.
The Attorney General, by the way, you mentioned the grand jury testimony, now asking a judge for permission to release some of that, so we'll see how that plays out. Immigration enforcement remains a contentious issue, right? This is something the president campaigned on a lot. This week, Investigative Post reported, I mentioned, that 3/4 of the local detainees had no criminal convictions or pending charges. And then just today, Investigative Post is out with a new article. I want to show it to you here. It's looking at workplace raids Construction companies are saying the cost for a roof in Buffalo has increased dramatically, in one case going like up $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 because they can't find workers. And one owner told Investigative Post there's not going to be any skilled labor left. Only 5% of the crews are white and they don't do the job quite as well. Obviously that is generalizing, but what about these ICE raids and the potential negative impact if you're not just going after criminal migrants?
Well, actually, you kind of misstated the case a little bit, Mike. Person who's here illegally has committed a crime.
Well, in many cases, it's a civil violation.
It may be a civil, but it hasn't been adjudicated. But it is a crime, and they are deportable almost immediately. But I'm not sure every ICE raid is for people in that category. Most of the ICE raids that have been reported are for people who do have criminal records, who have been convicted and have actually orders of deportation. And even those orders are being opposed by my Democratic colleagues. I don't understand why. Why
doesn't want to deport criminal migrants?
Well,
who has said that?
Karen Bass, who's the mayor of Los Angeles, basically has said we're not able to get gardeners to water our lawns and cut our shrubs. Is that what this is about? Why don't you pay people more? Why don't we reflect the demand by increasing the wages for people who don't want to work for $1 an hour? A lot of these people who are immigrants are being exploited. Look what happened in the cannabis field in Tennessee. We're talking about 14-year-old kids that's against the child labor laws. And a lot of the people who were working in that cannabis factory who were illegal aliens have criminal records. Now, does that mean you take all of the people who are illegal aliens who don't have criminal records and just let them go? I'm not sure about that. They should go. They should be tried, and their activities should be reviewed.
And again, the concern here: only 25% of the local detainees have criminal records or criminal charges.
Okay.
Finally, though, I want to ask you about the big, beautiful bill.
Sure.
We've had a couple of weeks to digest it. I know you're a fan of the tax cuts, which I want to talk to you about.
Yeah.
Listen to what Governor Kathy Hochul said today.
Yes.
I mean, you want to go back to hearing little kids' tummies growl in school? You want to go back to seniors back in the 1960s? Seniors lived in poverty. The highest rate of poverty was among our seniors until we had Medicaid, until we had Medicare. And now to unravel all that in just a few months' time, it is shocking. It is shocking.
Democrats are out there left and right hammering this bill. How should Republicans be messaging the bill?
Well, I don't know about Republicans.
And conservatives.
And I'll say
you're a conservative.
But let me tell you what's shocking, Governor. What's shocking is that there are thousands of people on Medicaid in this state who are illegal aliens. That's a crime. That's a crime. What does that bill do? The big, beautiful bill doesn't deport people. It just says you're going to have to work up to 20 hours, just 20 hours, to be eligible for Medicaid. People are being taken off Medicaid who refuse to work. So the cuts in Medicaid are not very cruel at all. The cuts are taking people who are ineligible off the rolls and put people on who are eligible.
This will obviously be a big issue as we head into 2026. Russ Gugino, really great to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike.
Appreciate your time. Have a great weekend.